Hello everybody, I'm Eric Walker and welcome to all4sci-fi.com. Another review. This week it's Star Trek Picard Episode 5, which is entitled Stardust City Rag. Interesting title. Kind of reminds you a little bit of, ragtime music or something. I mean, why did they come up with this name? Who knows? But the episode is directed by, once again, Jonathan Frakes. All I got to say is you should let Jonathan Frakes direct every episode. I wish he would have directed some of the other episodes as well. But this episode, before we get started, let's go ahead and make a couple quick announcements as well. Please, if this is the first time you've joined this channel, give us a big thumbs up, like our video, and also subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell next to it so that you're notified every time we go live on our channel. And here's why, because just a reminder, every week we have a live trivia game contest where you could win a free gift from Galaxy's Edge just by watching our stream, listening for clues. We'll give some trivia here and there, and then at the end of the stream we have the live trivia game contest where I will ask one question, and if you answer it right, you have a shot at winning a free Galaxy's Edge gift. And you don't even have to be the first person. As long as you're in the top 5 that answer it correctly, we write the top 5 names down, and you have a second chance because we'll draw your name out of a hat. So you get a second chance, and then last week was our 5th live trivia game contest. We've done it 5 weeks so far. Our goal this year is to do this 52 times this year, to try to do at least one free gift every week. And they're from Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, so they're very exclusive gifts that everybody wants. The first week we gave away Sabacc cards, then we gave away Chance cubes, we gave away Hans dice. Last week we gave away an exclusive Battle for indoor pin. It was beautiful. And don't forget to watch our live trivia game. Again, it's every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. If you're on the East Coast, that's going to be 1 to 3. If you're Central, that's 12 to 2. So make sure you do that just so you can participate. And, share this with all your family and friends. Do you have family and friends that like trivia games? Do they want to win free gifts that we're giving away every single week? Make sure you share this video and share our live trivia game with all your friends and family so they could participate too. Okay, so also before we get started in the breakdown and overall discussion and review of Star Trek Episode 5, we always give our rating first so that you could get the rating before you have any spoilers. Once we are ready to begin giving spoilers, you'll see a sign over here that says spoilers, and then at that point you could pause the video and come back later and watch it after you've seen Picard if you haven't seen it yet, okay? At All4Sci-Fi, our rating system is 0 to 5 stars. 5 is, of course, the best. We don't give everything 5 stars. If it's 3 or below, we don't recommend it. You don't have to go, or in this case, you don't have to stream. If it's in a movie, we mean don't go to the movie theater. If it's streaming, you don't have to stream it. Last week, we actually reviewed Sonic the Hedgehog, so check out that review. Okay, Star Trek Episode 5. Stardust City Rag. We're going to give it 4.75 stars. This episode, I think, in my opinion, is the best out of all of them. I even liked it better than the premiere episode. It's really, really a great episode. The writing and the dialogue are spot on. The Easter eggs are great, and we're going to discuss them as well. So 4.75 stars. It's the highest rating of all the episodes so far, out of all 5. So definitely check that out. Okay, let's go ahead, and you see a sign here that says spoilers. Let's go ahead and start discussing this episode. Again, this episode was directed by Jonathan Frakes. It was written by Kirsten, let me see her name, Kirsten Bayer. And all I gotta say, Kirsten, you were spot on. I love your writing. It starts off, it has a flashback again. So it has a prologue. It goes back Instead of 14 years like all the rest of them so far, it goes back 13 years. And I'm not a big fan of flashbacks, but in this case, it really, really works. This flashback was really needed. In this flashback, we're on the planet Vergessen, which is in a Hypatia system. And we learn that, so we're learning different systems and we're learning different planets. And we go to the Seven Dooms. And as we go into that, into the Seven Dooms, we're in this very dark lit facility. It looks like some sort of a medical facility. And we see a woman doctor. And on the table in front of her is a man. He's dressed in a Starfleet uniform. We don't quite know who this is. They're not showing who it is at this point. And she grabs one of her surgical instruments. And guess what she does? She starts taking his eyeball out. Oh, it's disgusting. She's ripping his eye out. And you literally see her take the entire eye out and she chops it off. And she throws it down on the table and she looks down at the guy who's screaming in pain and says, "Where is your cortical node?" So this guy is Borg, apparently, or was part Borg. So I guess there's a lot of this Picard series, and it makes sense, is we have a lot of this Borg stuff going on. So she grabs another surgical instrument and starts to go after another eye, like she's looking for that node. And right as she starts to do that, 7 of 9 beams in. Here she comes to the rescue, and she's firing up the place, and she's shooting. She shoots the doctor, kills the doctor, quickly gets rid of the other people before she kills the doctor, and she runs up, and she embraces this man in the Starfleet uniform. And here's your first Easter egg of this episode. That man is Icheb. And as you know, Icheb is one of the Borg. He was the older boy, the Borg children from Star Trek Voyager. So it was great to have Icheb there. For some reason, when I looked at Icheb, I thought it looked like the same actor who's played Icheb in Star Trek Voyager was played by Manu Itarami. And it looked like Manu. But when I looked it up, I saw that they recast Manu, and it's played by Casey King. Don't know why they recast him, but they did. So she's embracing Icheb, and he's really, he's toast. I mean, he has an eyeball gone, and you can see where he's damaged in other parts that she's tearing him up. He's basically on death's doorstep anyway, in a lot of pain. And he asks 7 of 9, please kill me. And very emotional 7 of 9, she reluctantly kills him. And after she shoots him in the side, she calls Icheb her child. I guess she's like a mother figure to him. And it's kind of neat that they're bringing in other Star Trek Voyager characters. And as well as we have 7 of 9 back. So great. It was a very, very emotional moment for her. And great acting. Spot on, Jerry Ryan. Good job. After that, we flash Back to the Future. No, not Back to the Future, the movie, but Back to the Future here in a Star Trek episode. And now we're not in present day, but we're 2 weeks ago. And we're on Free Cloud. And the planet Free Cloud, and where they go into Stardust City. So that's probably where they got the name Stardust City Rag, because the city, which is on Free Cloud, the name of the city is Stardust. And the planet Free Cloud, they said, was in the Alpha Doradus system. So we learn another system. So we're learning a lot of stuff here, which is great. And we go into the city, and you see all the dancing. And this city kind of reminds me of Las Vegas. It kind of is sparkly, and it has bars, and it looks like they have gambling. It just reminded me of like a futuristic Las Vegas. So we go into this club, and when we go into this club, we see this lady playing the piano. I don't know if that's part of the reason why they got the name Stardust City Rag. She's not playing ragtime, though. But I did notice, since I'm a musician, you see my keyboards next to me, she wasn't playing the correct notes. That I picked up on. I wonder how many other musicians will pick up on that. So we go from that, pan around the bar area, and we meet Mr. Vulp. I hope I'm saying his name right. Mr. Vulp is a Betanori, like this reptilian creature that has great senses, has over 253 receptors. So they could smell when you're lying, they could smell the food that you just ate, they could smell when you had sex the last time, they said, which is kind of crazy. How can they smell when you had sex the last time? That's kind of weird. But Mr. Vop goes up to a Bajazzle, which in this episode I hear are called Bajazzle, I hear are called Bajeezel. So Bajeezel, Bajazzle, tomato, that's what it's all about. No, just joking. But what's going on here? I mean, come on, Star Trek. Your names are hard enough to pronounce already, but then you have different people saying the names. Sometimes the same character says the name differently when they repeat it the second time. So it's whatever the name is, it's Bajazzle or Bajazzle. Let's say Bajazzle. Okay, let's stick with that name. Okay, so he goes up to Bajazzle, who is the boss, the head villainess lady, and he tells her that Dr. Bruce Maddox is waiting to see her. So now we finally get to see the infamous Dr. Maddox, who we've heard about in all the other previous 4 episodes. He is the person who created Daj, who's dead, and Soshi, who Picard's trying to find. It would be like the Dr. Sung, who is Data's, doctor who created him. So we finally get to meet this guy. And again, curious enough, this Dr. Bruce Maddox is played by a different actor. So they replaced the one that was in Star Trek, The Next Generation. Yes, Dr. Bruce Maddox was in The Next Generation. And if you want to look it up, he was in the episode entitled Sentient Being. So check out Sentient Being, that Star Trek episode, and you'll see it's a different actor. The actor who played Maddox in that episode, his name is Brian Bromf. This actor is John Ellis, or Ells. Might be saying his name wrong again. But John Ells plays Dr. Maddox here. You might remember him. He was on HBO's Euphoria series. And speaking of that, Bajazzle is a very famous actress too, a beautiful woman. She's in NCIS New Orleans, great actress. And the person who plays Mr. Vulp, his name is Dominic Burgess, and Dominic Burgess was in The Good Place, and also he's on episodes of the Santa Clarita Diet, which is on Netflix. So you might remember. He looks like this alien creature, so you won't pick up on that. But Bajazzle is played by Nakar Zadian, who's on NCIS New Orleans. So Bajazzle goes to meet with Dr. Maddox, and Dr. Maddox is telling her that his lab was destroyed, and he doesn't know. He thinks it was the Tal Shiar who came and destroyed and wiped him out, and he doesn't have any of her money, so he can't repair, and now his lab's destroyed, so she's the bearer of bad news. From there, we go back to the ship, and we see Picard. He's on the holodeck in the holosuite. He's watching. He's in his Chateau Picard area, and he's talking with Seven of Nine. And they have a conversation about, and Seven of Nine is telling him, no, why the heck are you all the way out here, Picard? Are you here to save the galaxy or on some diplomatic mission or something like that? And during their conversation, we also learned that Seven is part of this elite. She's a ranger, and I guess these rangers is some sort of outfit that goes around and helps the less fortunate or people that need justice. And Picard doesn't like the Rangers. He makes some sort of comment about how they're vigilantes, and and of course Seven fires back and says to him, there is no. It's a lawless society right now. There is no law going on, so they're there to help. So interesting enough too, Picard offers a drink to Seven, and she wants bourbon straight up. Wow. Okay, Seven. She even asks for another shot, actually, later when they're talking about, when Picard's telling her a little bit about Sochi and Daj. So after that, we go to a scene where we get Dr. Girardi, and she is watching some home movies of her and Dr. Maddox when I guess they were together. And Dr. Maddox was showing her how to make chocolate chip cookies. And she, of course, says, why don't you just replicate them? And he says, there's nothing like the real thing, you know. That's true, right? In life, there's nothing like a real baked chocolate chip cookie, especially when it comes right out of the oven. I want to eat one right now. But at the end of that scene, when she's watching the home movies, you see them kiss, which is an interesting twist, because she's not said anything to anybody about having that Dr. Maddox and her had some sort of relationship going, and whether I don't think they're married, but they're definitely involved romantically. So she finishes watching the movie, and she turns it off, and she's shedding a tear, and it's a nice little moment. Then we also go to them discussing what they're going to do when they get to Free Cloud. And Rafi is trying to find out where Dr. Maddox is. So she opens up some of the systems. She's on some of the boards and stuff. And she finds out, as they're discussing it, that Dr. Maddox is with Bajazil. And she also talks about that and Mr. Vup, who is, of course, he's one of those, he's a Betanori alien who you got to watch out for, because he could smell you, whatever you got going on a million miles away. And also she mentioned that she has a lot of guns for hire. So she has all these hired guns. So it's a very tricky situation. So they come up with a plan to have Rios come in as a tracer. And like he's got something to offer. 7 of 9 offers herself. She says she's more valuable because she has all these Borg implants, and that's what. And Bajazil, of course, is dealing in Borg, selling Borg implants and Borg technology. And so they come up with a plan, and Rios is going to go in. He's going to be a tracer. And Picard is going to be in disguise, but Eleanor is just going to be himself, I guess. And Dr. Girardi is going to stay on the ship so she could beam them all out just in time if all hell breaks loose and it doesn't work out. While they're doing this and preparing, Rafi makes a trip down to Free Cloud, and we learn, finally, why she wanted to come on this mission in the first place. She said she wanted to go for a reason, and it wasn't. She's just there helping Picard, but she's there for herself. We find that Rafi's son, Gabriel, is there on Free Cloud, and she finds him at this reproductive fertility clinic, and she goes to try to meet with him and talk with him, and you find out that they have a really bad relationship. The son and the mother have a very, very broken relationship, and Gabriel talks about how she wasn't there for him or his father, and she has all these wild theories about what happened with the Mars attack in the synthetics, and how she thinks it's a conspiracy, which we kind of know a little bit, but they don't know yet. It hasn't come out that the Federation is really behind most of it. That's coming out later, and we kind of know, even though everybody thinks Rafi is crazy, that we kind of know behind the scenes that the Federation might have had something to do with that Mars attack, and also what's going on now. Even they're behind everything probably. But her son just doesn't want to have anything to do with the mother. So Gabriel kind of shuns Rafi. Rafi says, I'm clean, so apparently she had a big drug problem. And we saw a little bit of that in some of the episodes when she was like vaping with this pen. She has some sort of issue. But it didn't work out. The son wants to have nothing to do with her, so Rafi licks her wounds and goes back up to the ship. And so now we're getting ready to go ahead and go on the mission. And Rios beams down. He goes to the bar. He was talking with the bartender down there, and he orders a drink. And then they told him to be flamboyant and be different as a tracer. So they gave him one umbrella. He goes, "Go, give me 2 umbrellas." And he tells the bartender, "I'm looking for Mr. Volp." And he goes, "Mr. Volp is right there." And he's like right behind him. That guy is like right there. And he shows him basically that he has 7 of 9. And he doesn't say it's 7 of 9, but he's looking at it and goes, "Wow, she has all these Borg implants. I've never seen someone that had this many Borg implants and still is alive, and they're all working." And of course, he's saying, "Wow, she's really, really valuable." And they're, of course, interested in something, some sort of trade. So what happens after that is Picard and Eleanor beam down with 7. They have 7 of 9 in handcuffs. And they're getting ready to talk about doing all the trade. And then something big happens. We find that Seven knows, and Seven and Bajazil have this history. And she even calls her Annika, so she really knows Seven. And the gig's up, and Seven grabs her by the throat because she wants to kill, because she wants to get revenge for what happened to Ichib. Her son. She wants to get Bajazil and wring her neck. And Rios tells her, "Look, you can't do this, because then everybody have a price so high on their head they won't ever be able to leave. If we kill her and you do this, it's not helping Dr. Maddox or Picard or anybody. So let her go." So she agrees to let Bajazil go if they could take Dr. Maddox. So they beam up. So Dr. Maddox is safe, but he's, when we see him, he's really, they roughed him up. So he's not in very good shape. And so they take him to the infirmary, and, of course, Dr. Girardi is being very loving and trying to help him and take care of him. And Picard and Seven have this talk, and she asked Picard if she could take some of the weapons and leave. And she decides she's going to go back down and take out Bajazil. So, or Bajazil, or Tomato, whatever the name is. So, so she beams back down, and she confronts her. And as they're talking, she lets her know, that was my son, she basically, and of course, Bajazil is trying to talk her way out of it so that her guards could start coming. Seven knows this and talks about it, makes a reference to it, but she knows, and so she pulls out the guns, and for Ichib, she blows her to smithereens, just blows her up totally. And of course, the guards then show up, and she's starting to shoot her. She's trying to shoot her way out. That's the last we see of Seven, her trying to shoot her way out. We don't know what happened to her. We go back to the ship, and on the ship, we see Dr. Girardi talking to Dr. Maddox, and Picard's talking to Dr. Maddox. He was talking to him as well earlier, and Picard is asking Dr. Maddox, does Dodge have that sister? Because Picard at this moment still doesn't know that Soshi exists. He just thinks that she has a twin sister. And Dr. Maddox lets Picard know, yes, she did have a twin, because they're made in pairs of 2. And the twin is Soshi. And Picard asks Dr. Maddox, well, where is Soshi? Because they're trying to find her to save her life. And he says that Soshi is on the artifact. So, and the artifact is the Borg, the old Borg ship, and it's in Romulan space. So Picard goes and talks to Rios about that, and of course Rios says, wait a minute here, she's on the artifact, we got to go to the artifact? Wait a minute, that's in Romulan space, I'm going to double my fee. That's Rios for you, thinking about doubling his fee, right? And as they're talking, we go back to see Dr. Maddox laying on the table, and Dr. Girardi's talking to him, and they're talking about what happened, and he's saying he's sorry, and he said, you should see them. It worked. All the suggestions that you made, I used, and it worked. Everything worked. So it's a nice little moment. But then the biggest twist of this entire episode happens when Dr. Agnes Girardi, the one that we thought was the little angel saint who's scared of her own shadow, she kills Dr. Maddox. She sets some stuff off and ends up making him die, and she says something like, I wish they wouldn't have shown me what they showed me. What did they show her that made her kill her lover? What? That's her lover who she was watching a video earlier making chocolate chip cookies and they were kissing each other. Yet she's killing him because they showed her something. What's going on here, guys? Hey guys, I gotta tell you, this episode deserves the 4.75 stars. It had twists all over the place, and the time went by so fast. The first time I watched it, I've watched it a couple times now, but the first time I watched it, it's like, wait a minute, this show's over? The pacing was so good, the directing was so good, the acting was so good, the editing was so good, the dialogue was so good, and I'm happy that I don't have to complain about swear words. Although some parent brought up to me about the last time I complained about swear words, she didn't want her kid to see someone's head get chopped off, even though it was but wait now till you see an eyeball come out. That's pretty gross. But it's getting better, guys. It's getting better. I'm very happy about this show. I can't wait. They showed a preview of what's coming, where they go to the artifact, they go to the Borg cube, and then you see this quick shot of Picard, and it looks like he's Borg. I don't know if it's a flashback or he becomes Borg again. Whoa, guys. Can't wait. What a wonderful show this is. Make sure you watch it. Make sure you go and subscribe to CBS All Access. It's a great show. And that's it. That's it for now. That's it. Thank you guys for joining me on another allforsci-fi.com review. This week it was Star Trek Picard, Episode 5, Stardust City Rag. And make sure, again, I'm going to remind you guys really quickly again, if this is the first time you've just stumbled across this channel, please give this video a thumbs up. Please like it. It helps us. And also subscribe. Hit the subscription button. And don't forget the notification bell so that you're notified every time we upload a video or go live. But more importantly, also when we go live, so you could be a part and share with your friends and family too about the live trivia game we have every Saturday. I'm Eric Walker for All for Sci-Fi saying, live long and prosper.